So I've got my assembly here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a fastener. It's really important when you're putting things together to think about how are they going to be manufactured. So right now I've got this block in here. Well, I need to secure the block to this tube, and I'll need to secure the block to this tube. So to start with, I can do this in a variety of ways, but I've got holes this way. The problem is that I don't have much space to position things if I'm doing it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a hole on the side of this. Now, what I can do is click on the tube and click Edit in Context, and that allows me to work on the piece, and I can actually see how everything fits together. So I'm now going to select this side, and I'm going to do a sketch. And what I'm going to do is just normalize my view. I'm using my scroll wheel to zoom in, and when I press down on the scroll wheel on my mouse and move it, I can pan, so I can reposition things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a construction line, and I know that this is 1 inch, so I'm actually going to create a construction line along here, and I'm going to do the halfway mark, which is 0.5 inches, and then I'm going to do another construction line this way and set. Oops, and I'm going to set that to be 0.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 bolt holes here to hold the position this way, and then a bolt hole through here to hold the piece that way. So I'm going to create, and if you remember from our previous, the size of the bolt is 0.201, and when I create a dimension, I can just move it out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to create another construction line right here and just go that direction. And I'm watching the little icons so to indicate when things are parallel. And what I'm going to do is create another. And there we go. I've got my 2 circles. I can extrude them, and I'm going to select remove and through all. So if I go back to my assembly now, I can see my holes are in there. Now my holes right now are only in the tubing. What I'm going to do now though is that I'm going to insert my bolt. So if I go insert and then select standard content, I can select all the different types of bolts that I can buy, and we use Fastenal for our fasteners. So I'm going to pick a machine screw, a hex machine screw. I believe it was a 1032, and right now this is 1 inch. So if I do 1.25 inches, it's just slightly bigger. So if I do the insert, now the nice thing is that with something like a bolt, I just need to find a circular hole, and if I position my mouse over it, my bolt should position itself perfectly. So there's my bolt, and I would want to go through the same process to add a second bolt and go through. Now, what I can do is I can actually hide my tubing now. And what I'm going to do is on my mounting block, if I right click that, what I can do is I can edit in context. And I'm just going to hide the tubing so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to create a sketch on this side. And actually, nope, I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to go on this side and sketch it. And what I can do is I can take a 3-point circle so that way I can just click 3 points around my bolt. And when I've got my 3 points clicked, now I've got a circle that I can extrude. And again, I'm removing through all. I think I messed that one up. There we go. Just had to zoom in because I was clicking the wrong thing. So there we go. I've got my piece, and I would go through the same process to mount holes on here. And see, the key thing is with this way is I would have the holes go through here. So you need to make a decision. Do you have the holes, the bolts go through here, and then you're trying to put your finger in to get the nut in on this side? That's definitely a possibility. And then you slide it over top of the other one. You need to play with how that's done. So, or do I make a bigger hole right here so that the bolt can go through, and then this is a smaller hole? But it's really important to think these things through.